Welcome back to Salt Air. I hope it's a welcome back. I hope you're a return viewer. If you're brand new, welcome to Salt Air. I am your host and community manager, Janae Andrus, and I'm here with my co-host and founder, creator of Salt, Tom Hatch. I just decided you're founder/creator today. I'd like to change
am those things.
You are those things.
Created.
Salt. For all things Salt, you can go to saltproject.io anytime. But as far as Salt Air, hit the subscribe button down below so you never, ever miss our awesomeness as we get granular on salt. And today we are going to have a vocabulary lesson, and I'm excited and prepared. Okay, Tom, are you ready? What I'm basically going to do is hit you with like 10 salt terms, and we're going to give everybody a salt vocabulary lesson. How's it sound?
I bet we're going to get through 4. Hit me.
Okay. I've got 10. Actually, I have 20. There's a lot, but we're going to see how many we get through. And it will determine how many we do the next vocab episode. How's that sound?
Sure.
Oh, man. Okay. So I'm actually going to go easy on you for once ever and do the first term for you. So at Salt, we have a lot of ways of saying things. And if you participate in the community at all, which we communicate a lot on Slack, the community's on GitHub, on Reddit, on Slack, we spend a lot of time talking to each other. That's what communities do. And something you will hear all the time is SEP. And SEP is just short for our Salt Enhancement Proposals, which are essentially, if you're familiar at all, of course, with open, it's normal to have enhancement proposals, and we, of course, call them salt enhancement proposals. So if we were talking about SEPs, that is what we're talking about. And it's something you can submit on GitHub as a way of us improving salt. Anything you want to add to that, Tom?
No, that's what they are.
That is what they are. Okay.
You write one of those suckers up and we argue with you. Wait, did I say that right?
That's what the comment section is for. That's right. That's what the comments are for. So we can argue about which steps to go through or not.
Discuss in a productive manner.
That's right. And we do have our weekly open hour where the community can come and talk to the core team. And we spend a good chunk of that time reviewing the current open SEPs and discussing in an appropriate and calm manner. No, really, the community's super chill and we have a good time. Okay. Next term, grains.
Okay, so
ready to go.
Grains are static information about a minion generated on a minion. So what matters for grains is that they're derived from the minion, and that they should be fairly static pieces of information like the CPU, how much RAM that sucker's got. And so since they're static and they don't change very much, they shouldn't have to be updated on a regular basis. Perfect.
Those are grains. That was easy.
Yeah, that's grains. They're great. We use them.
Pillars.
Lots of things. Pillar. I like that you asked about pillar right after grains, because pillar is information about a minion generated on the master, not on the minion. And so this allows us to have a central repository, a central location to have data stores that can then be pushed out in a secure way down to minions. And so, for instance, it is secure to store passwords and certificates, key data inside a pillar, and then make sure that gets assigned to the right target systems, which makes it very easy to be able to say that you're going to securely distribute this information out to these target systems.
Perfect. Yes. So we had to put that together. And then, no, we'll do this one next. Okay. States, which we talked a lot about salt states actually in our last episode. But
states is kind of it's kind of amorphous term inside of salt, because we refer to states really as anything that's expressing the configuration management engine. So the configuration management engine is salt states. And so, when we say salt states, that's kind of that high level term that means we're talking about the config management system inside of salt, as opposed to looking at states more specifically as any specific internal component And then we'll reuse the word state to express certain aspects of the state system.
Perfect. And I like how there's so many different ways we can get granular with SALT, right? And which is why we just did a quick review of what states are, but we have an entire thing on SALT states and a demo in our episode just before this one. So if you want to dive deeper on that, don't miss that episode. Okay. I don't know if this counts as just a term, but I'm going to throw SLS files at you as part of the vocab. Is that fair?
I'm actually really glad that you asked that one, because SLS files, the SLS is where we represent states and pillar data. But we've got more projects out there that are using the SLS format. And so there's another open source project that I've been working on called Item, which uses the SLS file format. And so recently I've been trying to explain SLS, not as it was originally named. So originally they were named SLS files quite terribly. It stands for SALT states.
So the SLS is SALT states, like the L is the L in SALT.
That was my original intention, and it was terrible.
That's amazing.
I would really like for them to now be known as structured layered state files, because they represent structured data. The rendering process is layered, and the output is stateful information, so that we can then reuse that format in other areas.
Structured layered state files.
Structured layered states.
I mean, as much as I enjoyed SALT states.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Structured layered states. That's good. Okay. That sounds good. I'm going to try to throw you with this one. You ready? Controller.
Okay. So when I originally wrote SALT back in 2011, I named them Master and Minion. And of course, I had absolutely no intention. I felt that master was a very generic term. But the world no longer feels that way about the term master. And it has been very clearly defined as a term that people don't like.
And it makes sense that, if you see it one way as, okay, I'm just saying that this goes over this. And then when you kind of realize, there's a whole other angle of looking at this, let's make some changes, right?
Yeah. So my intention was certainly not meant to be onerous in any way. And so we're in the process of changing the name of the SALT master to a SALT controller. And so in the future, it will be a SALT controller. And we'll change as much of that code as we can to try, and in such a way that we don't introduce new bugs. It's an incredibly widely used term in the code base, and it's going to be a very delicate operation to migrate that.
Absolutely. I mean, the terms master and minion are just core to SALT. And so making that change, I think it's really important that we make the changes we can make to just improve terminology. Absolutely. It will be a delicate process, and we'll make sure that it's done right, but it's absolutely worth doing. So
we don't want to be introducing bugs.
Right. So that change will be happening over time. And so now let's see. It's like you're smart or something, because we only made it through half of these. Should we try to get through 4 more?
I did make all these names.
Yeah, you did.
So I better remember them.
Okay. Well, I have 4 more for you, and we'll just have to do them on another vocab episode. How does that sound to you?
That sounds good.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. And as always, you can find all things SALT at saltproject.io. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.